When visiting Australia, most people head to Sydney, but I'm heading to Perth on the west coast to taste the other side of Australia. And it begins the moment I set foot in the Qatar Airways lounge at Heathrow. Forget everything you ever knew about airline food. This place is a veritable fine dining restaurant with everything you could ever wish for on tap, including champagne. Qatar Airways is known as the 5-star airline and has won awards to prove it. My first stop is Western Australia's capital, Perth, which is going through a foodie revolution right now with new restaurants and bars popping up across the city. But I was here to meet some of the food producers behind this state's foodie scene. So I headed 3 hours south to Yallingup, where I met local bush skills expert Josh Whiteland. He offered to show me how to forage for shellfish, just as his ancestors had done for centuries.
What's that?
Abalone.
Wow, I can feel it sucking my hand.
And we only ever take what we need. Aboriginal people were some of the first environmental farmers.
Next up, it was my turn.
That's it.
Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that. I'm not going to lie, I'm not looking forward to eating this.
Next was the Nilgi Cave, where Josh was going to turn our foraged feast into a fine dining treat. My job was to light Josh's fire.
Stand by with the matches.
Yeah. Failing at my first task, Josh showed me how it was done properly.
There we go. You don't get much fresher than that. That's the simplest dish, and yet you'll see that served in a restaurant and it'll cost you about $30, $40. The moment I've been waiting for all morning. That is delicious. Oh my God, explain how good this is.
Continuing south, I arrived in Margaret River, famous for its delicious wines. The area accounts for just 3% of Australia's grapes, but produces 25% of its premium wines. Not only that, but it's home to more than 220 boutique wine producers. I decided to visit Edwards.
Hey, how are you?
Nice to meet you. So this is Matilda. This is the plane that my father Brian flew from England to Australia back in 1990 for charity.
That's an old school adventure right there, isn't it?
It is. It's not all about the plane. We do make some pretty damn good wine here too. So this is our 2011 Chardonnay. Nice and fresh, nice and clean, but still with some nice complexity.
I should have spat it out, but I couldn't bring myself to.
Mike introduced me to his brother Christo, who's the viticulturalist here.
So what makes this part of Australia so good for wine growing?
We've got beautiful gravel loam soils, the distance from the coast, sort of a bit more Mediterranean. Come and jump in the car, I'll take you for a look around.
Christo is not your typical wine producer, and living in an area that's not only famous for wines but surf as well, he took me to his very own secret spot.
When we're not in the vineyard, we're sneaking down here to try and get a few
Yeah, you
wives.
guys have got a pretty tough life here.
Christo is an excellent surfer. Unfortunately, I'm not. Okay, so I may not have conquered the waves, but I had an excellent introduction to what this southwest corner of Australia has to offer. I cannot wait to come back to Western Australia, especially when the food and wine is this good.